Good morning everybody and welcome to the Pidgey Solo Run. Oh wow, I've been trying to put this off for quite a long time. Considering since the start of 2025, the whole reason why this move has been, well not the move, but this Pokemon has been pushed back in the choices that keep coming up on the wheel, is because I banned Sand Attack as a move after speaking to all you lovely people. But my god. Yeah, this Pokemon definitely needs Sand Attack, make this more viable, but I'm going to prove to you today that it's still possible without Sand Attack. Our rival for today is going to be Taco Bell 12. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, and let's get a move on really. Pidgey is a flying normal type, the base stage evolution of the Pidgeot line, with base stats of 216. Yeah. We don't really have a great stat. The speed is average. We start off with just one move, well two moves because we're level 5, and that is Sand Attack and Gust, and yeah, as I've just said, Sand Attack is banned, so we only really have Gust. So what are we going to have to do here? Well, for the first time I'm actually going to talk about effort value and individual value system in Pokemon Red and Blue. So basically, before Ruby and Sapphire revitalised the entire system of EVs, IVs, Pokemon Red, Blue and Gold and Silver had a completely different system for calculating stats. In this generation in particular, each Pokemon could only have up to 15 for its IV, half of what it is in later games. But the effort value system, commonly referred to as static experience, is vastly different. So what's the difference in this game? Well, first off, rather than having a limit of 252 out of 252 in each stat, you can actually get up to 65,535 points in each stat, with there being no upper limit to the amount of points you can put on your Pokemon. The values are then put through a massive calculation, which I'm not even going to go through, in order to obtain the actual stat value. So the Pokemon that I'm choosing to EV train in this early game, I'm going to actually go against the Pidgeys themselves because they yield speed EVs. And because our own Pokemon is very bad in pretty much every stat, I want to make sure we can at least outspeed majority of things by doing this training. So yeah, if I want to make Pidgey more of an offensive threat, I will have to go and battle the likes of Nidorans in the early game because they yield attack EVs. As you can see, we've been over to get a few attack EVs for going against a rival here. And it is paying off, like we're doing a little bit more damage, but considering how many points you need to put into a stat, it takes a while to do this sort of training, but for a Pokemon like Pidgey, I do think it's actually going to be definitely needed. Because you might be wondering, right, if we're not going to be using Sand Attack, what can we use? Well, look at that moveset on the right hand side there. We don't get very much to work with. Our best stab move is Wing Attack on level up, and it's 35 power in this generation. With stab power, you're probably looking more along the lines of 50 power, but yeah, it's still not good at all. There's also no badge boosting on my rule set as well, which means we can't utilise agility. So yeah, we've really not got much to work with. We don't even get Hyper Beam. So the best moves that we can really utilise, probably going to be Sky Attack and Fly, Double Edge, and thank God Mimic is not a bad move on this channel. Nobody has told me that should be a bad move, so I've never brought it up. But yeah, we're probably going to have to utilise Mimic at quite a few points here. But yeah, that is pretty much what we have to work with, and I hope you enjoy this one. The explanation for the IVs I've just gone through there, all from Bulbapedia. If it is incorrect, please let me know down in the comments so I can update it in the description of the video. So, I've completely talked over all of what we were doing on screen there just to do this explanation. We've beaten the Light Years trainer, we've EV trained a bit more in our speed. Not because we need it for Brock, it's going to be for the later fights. We have also EV trained against the Nidorans earlier on. But here are our stats going into our very first Brock attempt. We've got 30 attack, 35 speed. That speed will be more than enough to outspeed all of his Pokemon. But will the attack be all that we need? So, Brock, of course, he's got his level 12 Geodude and then his level 14 Onix. We are just going into this with our Gust. We're going pure offensive here until the well, actually, we can't even use Sand Attack to get around Bide. We have to start using Gust regardless and Quick Attack. And to your level 18, we actually get really close. I was not expecting to get that close. Because our speed is not the highest it could be, our critical hit chance is still not massively high. But because of the EV training, we're actually doing decent damage out, I would say. I mean, we take a lot of damage from Bide. It's really kind of annoying that he just spams all of it in this attempt. But thankfully, we're not getting like 3-turn bites. We're only getting like 2-turn bites. And he's not really using many other stat lowering moves like Screech. And at level 18 on attempt 2, we actually get a win here. So I'm actually really happy at that. It's not massively over-leveled for what I was expecting for a Pidgey, but we're still over-leveled. Like, you can't get away with that. We're still very over-leveled. Going into Mount Moon, of course, we have the Super Nerds, and then we're going to choose our god for today. Which of the fossils should we go for? Most likely, because I always think it's a little bit quicker, I always go for the Helix fossil, just because it's right in front of you. One less step. You might have noticed that we are massively over-leveling at this point as well. Well, reason for that, we don't really get too many moves to work with, and I'd rather get Wing Attack as quick as possible. So in this early game, we will be going against a lot of optional battles here. That means when we get to the late game, we won't have to go against as many, and hopefully we can recoup our time there. So we're going into Misty's fight at level 25 here. Gust is pretty much our main move right now. We can Quick Attack if we're not outspeeding things, and that kind of makes my EV training speed a little bit redundant, but it's still making a bit of a difference for when we don't need Quick Attack. Because Quick Attack being only 40 base power, yeah, we probably need something a bit more beef behind it eventually. We beat Misty pretty comfortably though at this level and progress onto the rival against Taco Bell. And we're kind of climbing in levels pretty quickly. Like, we do level up pretty quickly. We don't have to worry too much about going back and training up against random Pokemon. We can pretty much do alright. By the end of Nugget Bridge, we have also picked up Wing Attack, so now we've got our main move here for the next portion of the game till we can start getting some TMs and HMs. I was honestly expecting when I started this run, oh, it's a normal flying type. Most things have Hyper Beam in this generation. Nah. Best normal type move we can get in this generation is going to be Double Edge. I hate using recoil moves, but sometimes they're so necessary. And debating it as well, out of Sky Attack and Fly, I'm probably still only going to get Fly as well, even though it's a 2-turn. They are both 2-turn moves. Fly gives you that chance to miss an attack by flying up in the air. Sky Attack doesn't. You have to charge your first turn, most likely take an attack, and then you can release your shot. So out of the two, I'd still think Fly is a bit more valuable for that aspect alone. We go against as many trainers as possible, and do you know what else is going to become one of the most pivotal moves in this entire run? On the SSN, you can go around and you can pick up the move Rest. I know I'm picking up, I was picking up Body Slam there, but I'm using that so I can sell for more money. But yeah, on the lower decks, you can pick up the TM for Rest. That is the location of it, and after the SSN goes, you cannot get the Rest TM unless there's a point in the game where you can pick up another one by buying it. I haven't checked that, to be honest, but yeah. At level 37, we have really over-leveled, and we are just overkilling it on levels right now. But trust me, that level will balance out eventually when it matters most, really. By the time we get into Giovanni, I imagine we're going to be around about the high 50s if we go this route. But it means in the mid-game to the late game, just before the league, we can recuperate a hell of a lot of time by doing that. Anyway, let's go against Surge and see what we can do. This is another reason why I need to be higher level to go against this fight. Our best move in this fight is going to be Quick Attack, of all things. It can one-shot the Voltorb and the Pikachu, but the Raichu, no, it can still tank it even after a crit. And Thunderbolt did nearly our entire damage, so we needed those levels to even make that viable. After that, we can progress back to Cerulean and go against the Rapping Last on the way to Rock Tunnel. So yeah, we've actually got one move that is super effective against quite a lot in the generation. It's just kind of annoying that at this point in the series, flying types were not all that great. Apart from the legendary birds, of course, but there wasn't many good flying type moves that you could really utilise apart from fly, in my opinion. Wing attack being 35 power in Gen 1 is just awful, really. So you know what I was saying earlier, rest is such a pivotal move to this sort of run? Well, the exploding high kick is a mandatory trainer, and yet they will explode on you, so you need to be using rest to keep your HP up, so you can actually tank a few hits. They also have rock throw as well, which for a flying Pokemon is a death sentence. But that means we can also progress through Rock Tunnel quite unhindered, and we're going against as many guys as possible. But at Lavender Tower is where that all changes. We will stop going against as many optional fights as possible and try and stick to just the mandatory ones. But the Slowpoke trainers, they are bulky, so you need to make sure you can take them down. And they yield pretty good experience. That brings us to Lavender Tower and of course the next rival fight. With Pidgeotto against Pidgey, we managed to show we are the better Pidgey. We take down Growlithe in 2 hits, and yeah, if I hadn't have done any EV training to start off with here, it would probably still be about 2-3 hits to be able to take them down, but I'm managing to take most things down in 2 hits, even though we are double their level. But this is how bad Pidgey actually is just on its own. Decent in the early game, but it really needed that evolution at level 18 to get into Pidgeotto. But to be honest, they really didn't give, even though it's such an iconic Pokemon thanks to the anime, Pidgeot, like, they didn't really give it all too much when it came to the move department. Like, apart from maybe 1 or 2 moves, this is pretty much all this line gets on their movesets. Either way. In Erica's gym, I think, considering we've got the type advantage, we might as well get a few more bits of experience in with a few more optional battles, and let's see how we do against the Grass Girl herself. So Erica's got 3 Pokemon, Victory Bell, which thankfully went for Poison. You won't believe it, but that's actually the best status effect you can get against that Victory Bell. Puts you to sleep. Of course, sleep is probably the worst status effect. If you get paralyzed, then your speed gets cut. I would rather get Poison, which means that they also cannot put any other status effects on you. And when you get into the Tangela, you rest up, the Vileplume comes out, and you just wing attack it into the ground. It's a very easy fight. Granted, we are over leveled, but yeah, it is an easy fight for us. And we progress onto a much harder fight, which of course is going to be Giovanni, and he is going to be a bit of a nightmare. But before that, we're going to go and get the Fly HM. It means we can zip around Kanto as quick as we can. But it also means we get a powerful stab move to work with here. So usually it being 70 base power, with our stab probably looking around about 90 to 100. I think it's like 1.5 the stab bonus, isn't it? I can't remember off the top of my head. In the Rocket Corner, of course, we've gone and picked up the Double Edge TM. Normally I hate using recoil moves, but because we don't have much to work with and we've already got the TM for rest, it's worth using because we've got a little bit more longevity in fights right now with being a bit over leveled. But rest means that any recoil damage we accumulate, especially in long fights, we can rest back up, get our HP, and hopefully not take too much before we actually wake back up. So once you have beaten the Rocket Corner, you've opened up Saffron, you can go back to Lavender Tower, and you'll go against the Rockets right at the top. Meaning you can get the Poke Flute from Mr. Fuji, and he actually doesn't let you leave that house until you've picked it up. Anyway, now we have got it, we can go back over to Saffron City, because if I'm right, we should be at a high enough level to actually make Silph Core worth it. We go straight to floor 5, pick up the Elixir here, and pretty much there's only one mandatory fight before you need to go against the rival. At the very least, there are 4 mandatory fights in this entire game. There are 4 mandatory fights in Silph Core. You've got the guy before the card key, you've got the rival 5, you've got the grunt before Giovanni, and then you got Giovanni himself. After that, there are actually no more mandatory fights. I go against 2 optional ones here, so I can open up the rest bed here. And that means we can go back up to full health before going against the rival. So Taco Bell here, we are getting up in our levels. We are nearly level 50 here. But we can do decent damage out to most of his Pokemon pretty quickly. Quick Attack takes down Growlithe for 2 hits. I really, went for Fly there. That is the best move to be going against that Pokemon with. Double Edge, we outspeed the Alakazam. This is why we needed the speed EVs. And when the Blastoise finally comes out, we Fly, miss a load of hits, and we beat him first time. Yes, we are level 50, but this is a tough fight. Like, a lot of my runs get blocked here for a while, and I have to go and train up before actually progressing. So I'm quite happy that we managed to do that there. The next guy coming up here has got a Cubone, a Marowak, and a Poison type Pokemon. Not Poison. He's got a Psychic Drowsy. Majority of his team, because they're ground types, they've only got ground type like offensive moves, like Bone Club. We don't have to worry about going back to that. As a bird type, we don't have to worry about going back to the rest bed. We can rest in that battle and get back to full HP going into Giovanni. Now Giovanni is going to be difficult because he's got himself a powerful, well not powerful, a very bulky Rhyhorn. We need to get through his first 2 Pokemon as quick as possible without taking much damage whatsoever. But that doesn't happen because Kangaskhan hits a 5 critical Comet Punch. We have to resort to using Rest, and hopefully we're not going to take all too much damage from the Rhyhorn. Thankfully, Double Edge is actually really helping us out here. It's dealing out a lot of damage to Rhyhorn. But most annoyingly though, he does take off a lot of HP with his moves. We're going to go for Fly against the Nidoqueen. And it's doing decent damage, but we need to rest back up and going against it. It's dealing out a lot of damage. We've been tail whipped a few times. We just need to make sure we can get that last hit in. And level 51, we complete Silph Core. And you know what? While we're here in Saffron City, it might be a good time to go against Sabrina as well. If we heal up, we can make our decision, and the decision is we are going for Sabrina. We are a physical attacking Pokemon, so we might make this work. Let's see how we go. So Sabrina is out next, and we're just going to go for the Double Edges. It's powerful, they don't have great defenses, and we're pretty much one-shotting everything, so this is definitely the right move to make. Fly takes out the Venomoth, and a big Psybeam hits us, and we managed to hang on with 10 HP even after recoil. That was actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, and you know, well done Pidgey. To celebrate that, we're going to go and beat up some fighting type Pokemon as a tiny little bird. I was having a chat to Wacko Goldfish recently, and I was kind of debating where's the logic in flying and fighting? Like, why is fighting weak to flying? And the only explanation that he could come up with is that, well, if you're flying up in the air, how can you punch someone? And that's why it's super effective. I was like, yeah, kind of makes sense. Okay, the Koga fight here. Good thing we do have rest, because we did get, like, we got disabled, we got poisoned a lot. We needed rest to really make this viable, even at level 54, because this was just a cheesy fight. But just for the fact that he uses a lot of X attacks. Now, the worst thing here was the fact that I didn't have enough HP to go against him when he uses self-destruct. I was really hoping for the fly miss there, but it just didn't work that time round. We need to take his Pokemon out quick. We need to make sure our defenses don't get lowered or their attacks don't get increased. So Fly is a decent move to get away out of that. Annoyingly, he goes for Minimise as well, which is cheesy because I can't use that move. We do get poisoned again, and we just start missing because of one Minimise. That's how many times we missed because he Minimised once. That was about 7 turns. That's why evasion is just so broken in this generation. I've just seen there we also get smokescreen. We are not in a great place right now. As long as we can get through this coffin, we can start flying and hopefully... Oh my god, how many times did I get poisoned here? That must have been 3 times in the exact same fight. 4 times. This is why I needed rest here, because I just got... I got poisoned so many times. And then smokescreened about 5 times as well. Thankfully, Fly actually hit twice in a row after all those drops. We fly up and self-destruct wins, but my god, I was not expecting Koga to be the most difficult gym challenge so far. Crazy. Oh well. Now we've got that, we can go to the Safari Zone and we can go and get the Surf HM. Now I am going to try and show you here how you get through. Not really. Oh, I thought I'd put in the footage where I would actually show you the route to get that through there quickest, but I actually edited this footage like a week ago, and now I'm doing my voiceover for it. With that, we can take a swift swim down to Cinnabar Island. Swift swim, not an ability till later on in the generations, and we can go against Blaine, the fire type trainer. What I am going to show you though is the fact you can get 2 rare candies pretty much very close to each other. You can see you can get one that was there, and then just randomly on the floor there is another one just there. So yeah, there's 2 extra rare candies that we're most likely going to need. Well, most likely, we're definitely going to need later. Because if we start thinking about the League and the other flying type runs that we have done, especially the Spearow run, we've got a massive blocker to overcome. And that's where all the CV training really comes into it. So, Blaine the fire type trainer. We want the volcano badge, he's got it. Is this going to be a tough fight for us? Well, yes and no. We can't one-shot, but thankfully he takes himself out in recoil. Always love to see it. We can take out the Ponyta, we can't take out the Rapidash. And, you know, I was saying earlier about all the over-leveling earlier. It's starting to round out a bit now. We're at level 56 on the 7th gym, and their highest is 47. With that though, we can still get a comfortable win and progress on to the final gym of this challenge. Which, this one is going to be difficult because, yeah, it's not just ground type Pokemon that he has. If it was just ground types, we could deal with it. It's the fact that he's got rock type Pokemon, and we've got no moves on our moveset here that are actually super effective or not resisted. Like, it's just not part of our moveset. So what else can we do? Well, as I alluded to earlier, Mimic is a great TM to get in this generation, because it doesn't just mimic the last move used, it gives you the choice to mimic any of their moves. So which Pokemon do we do? Well, if you watch plenty of my other runs, the Doug Trio on Giovanni is the perfect Pokemon to mimic in this fight, and I'll show you exactly why. But first, let's see how we do without Mimic. So at level 58, I'm going to try this without Mimic just to see how we do. Double Edge is going to be a free shot on the Rhyhorn, but we have taken quite a lot of damage. Quick Attack will nearly one-shot the Doug Trio at this range, but this is where it starts going all south. We get a few defense drops on the Nidoqueen. Nidoking here, it goes for a Guard Spec, and then a Horn Attack does decent damage. And I was thinking at this point here, we're at 70 HP, we're doing alright here, and then a Stomp comes out. Our defense started being lowered way too much, and we had to resort to going for Mimic. Which is strange, because that Rhydon normally does not ever go for most of his attacking moves. We got a couple of levels on the way as well, but we have now got Double Edge, Mimic, Fly, and Rest. On the Doug Trio, you can learn the move Dig, which is super effective against all of his team, apart from the Doug Trio. Super effective against Nidoqueen, and yeah, this little bird is digging through and just beating everyone down. It's one-shotting most things. Not the Rhydon though, but thankfully we managed to get another dig in. That's all 8 badges, and we can progress on to the Pokemon League. But before the Pokemon League, of course, we have one more trainer to deal with, and that is Rival 6. Then this one's a tough one, not as difficult as Rival 5, I feel. But this is the first battle that I really feel like this Alakazam proper shows its true colours. Anyway, let's see how we do here. We're going to this at level 60 against level 47 Pidgeot. Double Edge takes him down in 2, and then we move into the Rhyhorn. Now I'm already starting to think and trying to remember what moves the rest of his team have. And I made the mistake there. I actually should have mimicked against the Rhyhorn, as we will soon find very, very quickly. So I eventually mimicked Leech Seed, which was not the correct decision here, because that means we're going to start losing HP every single turn. We're fast asleep, a Soul Beam comes out, and yeah, we're just draining our HP right now. Fly won't do all too well. it just missed there as well. We managed to take him out when we've already lost half our HP. Alakazam sets up a Reflect, which is just cheesy, and then goes for Psychic, which we just cannot. We can't tank that. Our special stat is our second worst type of stat. Defense is the worst. So let's change it up here. I noticed there that we can mimic a good move here, and you might be wondering, one-hit KO moves are just broken. Well, say that to the 30% chance to actually hit it, and then I'll listen to you of whether it should be a bad move, because you need Horn Drill to make this fight work, even with Pidgey at level 64. Just for the fact that if we get hit by any move there by that Blastoise, we will go down. Horn Drill gives us a chance to one-shot and actually get through, and you will see this technique used later on down the line as well. So, with all those trainers beaten, all the badges, we can progress on to the league with the first challenge. And the challenge which ultimately defines this run of it, just why this is a bad Pokemon for Kanto. So, mimicking any of her moves is really not the way to go forward unless you're going to badge boost, and we do not badge boost. Normally you would go to the Slowbro if you were badge boosting and get Amnesia, boosting all of your stats and incredibly boosting your special stat. Yeah, it doesn't work. Level 66 we just weren't working with Pidgey, just wasn't working. Level 73 we don't really do any much better at all. We managed to get past the Cloyster this time, rest up against the Slowbro, but any ice type move we aren't really tanking comfortably at all. Thankfully Slowbro does not have Ice Beam on its moveset, or we really would never get past him. It's just so bulky. It uses Growl, it uses Amnesia, and it's also got Withdraw as well. This Pokemon is just a cheese monster. Like, he hates us. And its only attacking move is Water Gun, which is so weird, isn't it? Like, for the league, your best water type move is Water Gun. Really weird. Now, we managed to finally get through to Lapras, but because we have taken so many Growls, our attack is just shot into the ground. We go up to level 88 before we have a chance to even beat that Lapras. The trick is, double edge your way through completely until the Slowbro. Use one double edge to get its HP down. Then after that, once you wake up, you're on quite high HP to manage to take out the Jinx with one shot. And there you go as well. Double edge can take out the Lapras, but you have to be at a high level. Let's see how we do against Bruno. Now, we should have the type advantage here. Should. But the first Pokemon out is going to be that Onix. We need to take it down quickly because there are no moves here that we actually want to learn. But we do want the Hitmonchan to come out because it has the move Ice Punch. That'll be super effective against the next Onix coming out. And you know what? After that, with all of his fighting types, we can just fly our way through this fight. The Hitmonlee even misses its high jump kick, which is hilarious. And Fly does actually decent damage on the Onix, but that's the whole reason we wanted Ice Punch to take down that Onix quicker. We beat Bruno first time and progress on to Agatha. So Agatha is an annoying trainer sometimes, but thankfully with Mimic gives us a move that we can actually make viable for this fight. Honestly, you need Mimic Pidgey to make this run work. I'm at a ridiculously high level here. This is, you know what? This is actually the highest level I've had to be to get to this point in the league before. So I think this just screams why Pidgey is just not a good Pokemon. But it's trying its best. We are making it work with Mimic, but Mimic is just the pivotal move that you need to make this work. We beat Agatha and take on Lance. So with Lance comes some more problems. He has a rock-type Pokemon, so we need to try and get through that Pokemon as quick as possible with Hydro Pump. You cannot learn any Ice-type moves in this fight to take care of the dragons pretty comfortably, so you've got to rely on Double Edge to one-shot them. When it comes to the Aerodactyl, that's the whole reason you need Hydro Pump, and then when Dragonite comes out, two Flies should be able to take it down. We are very high levels, but we're on the home stretch. Let's see how we do against the champion. Now, Taco Bell is out with his Pidgeot against our level 89 Pidgey. We go for double edges to take out the first 2 Pokemon as quick as possible. But I'm also going to try and mimic Psychic. Maybe not the right move to do that on, but for this attempt I went with Psychic, just to try and take down that Rhydon as quick as possible. Arcanine comes out and double-edged one-shots it. We need to fly on the Executor, which is a one-shot, and that brings us into the Blastoise. And I decided to go for Psychic, just see how much it does, and it's about a third. Thankfully though, he only goes for bites in this fight. We did not see one Blizzard. And Pidgey gets a first-time win against the rival champion. So with that, that was a very long run. This is a longer video than normal for my Gen 1 runs, and we finished on level 90, which speaks volumes. We finished at 7 hours and 7 minutes. Pidgey is a bad Pokemon, made even worse by not having Sand Attack. If we had Sand Attack, probably would have shaved about 3 hours off that, because... no, not 3 hours, maybe about 2 hours, because evasion moves in Gen 1 are broken. But it is banned on my channel. We cannot use evasion, lowering or increasing moves in these runs unless it's Gen 2, but even then it's banned up until like red, and you can't do it at level 100. Oh, great choice on the wheel to start off with, Mew. Considering how tedious that run was, maybe Mew is a great option. Oh, we're getting loads of Psychic types this time round. Hypno's next. I am more signed towards Mew. What's last? Marowak. Nah. We are going for the Mew run. It's been a long time coming. Maybe this one can beat Mewtwo. If you got to this point in the video, guys, please smash that like and subscribe. You legends, I really appreciate it. And we will see you next week, where we try and take on this with a Mew. Take care.